Oh, there we go. It works now. Right. So, thank you, Eagle Eye, for that. The old classic, turn it on and off again. So there we are. Now, actually, I should start the friggin' yeah. Install on quick. All right, and introducing myself. Yay! This is Studio A here at Revolution Radio. Big thank you to Tony and Why Not and the crew. And I've got a whole type of thing going on because, I've been struggling for 2 minutes trying to actually lock on. And so, if the guests are actually listening, I will be bringing you in a moment because I'm just doing everything at once. All right, there we go. I've got that up, and then I'll add some people, so I have people to talk to, and that would be there, and then there, and hopefully that works because Skype should start the recording, eh? And alrighty, there we go, gentlemen. I've been watching MASH again. Thank you for coming back. I'll be joined by. So I'll just get out of the way. Greetings, my fellow divine co-creative celestial beings of the now. Praise the Skype gods and Eagle Eye for telling me to turn it on and off again. So Skype goes, oh, something's happening. Welcome to Planet Collingwood here on Studio A, Revolution Radio. A big thank you to Why Not and crew for the Wi-Files. If you enjoyed the last 2 hours, please go to fromslips.com or revolution.radio and donate what you can. A honourable mention to Mechanic as well for helping out. We got there in the end, boys. We got there, and ladies, let's be fair. I include everyone. Except the controllers. They can get stuffed. Tonight's show is sponsored by Q Heal, a quantum healing hypnosis technique in Sydney and Melbourne. One's in lockdown, one's coming out of restrictions, so good luck with that. Q-heal.com and let Paul do a session on you, as well as SJ's Ninja Dojo for Squirrels, a place for your fur babies to learn the way of the squinger. SJ's Ninja Dojo for Squirrels. Let your rodent defend you. Right, I can close that now because I haven't thought. I have been joined by Brandon Young and Cortek. So, what's the word from Boston, yo?
Park the cars. The Harvard Yard is what the word is, Monty. How you doing? It's good.
Yeah, I'm all right there. Let's see now. Well, I do find it fascinating where you say car keys in Boston. It's either a pair of pants or something that starts your car. Hey, I like Goodwill Hunting, even with the South Boston accent. Let's be fair. So, all right. So let's see what else. So I've been saying for weeks I need an intro, and then I gave you 2 minutes of Zen. That's how I roll, ladies and gentlemen. That's spiritual. There you go.
What is the sound of one hand clapping? It's called Planet Collingwood.
Yeah, slap. Yeah.
For 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Hang on. I'm on air now.
Hey, I heard that, I don't know, I heard through the grapevine that Bruce McDonald wrote a book that Monty Dean himself gave the audio translation of. And is this available somewhere?
Yes. Finally, the audiobook for Stardust Ranch, The Incredible True Story, and if you put that into abbreviations, it's tits. Why do I tell people that? Cortek has joined us straight from lockdown, New South Wales. How are you, Cortek?
Hey, Cortek.
That sounds like the funniest bit about the whole ad.
Yeah, the rest of what's the book about? Well, let's see, ghosts, aliens, an 8,000-year-old time portal. But
what's that chick in the bikini doing on the commercial? Shut up! It sells books.
Hey! She read the book. I finished my first book this week. Oh, what's it about? You're gonna write it? Yeah. I didn't write it. I read it.
It's about a hobbit.
Yeah. So yes, the audio is finally up, and at the moment I am actually audiofying. That's a word now. The next book, Light of Darkness. So beautiful. That's interesting. The life and times of Robert Wiegand and his journey through the darkness, and it's quite fascinating. So
can I just say, and I'm not trying to blow smoke, but once in a while I should. You got a great knack for this, as they say in England.
Why, thank you. It just comes naturally to me.
No, but you really do. Like, I can listen to you ramble and read anything. You know, you could read the dictionary. It would be cool.
Well, yeah, because like aardvark. Ooh, ladies. Well, yeah,
Fillet towing.
I do. I shared it on Facebook. It's like I did a thing. Blah 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 blah. So if you want to listen to me for 7.5 hours, now you can.
Yeah.
So
I shared it. I can't wait to. I'm gonna buy it. I think tomorrow. So I gotta remind myself. It's on my list of things.
Yes, and you can start at Amazon Audible, and if you don't want to go there, it's on 49 other places as well. So it's not exclusive to Amazon because I mean, really, they're not struggling, are they?
Well, Audible.
They don't
I
really
have
need
an Audible account, and you can try it for like 30 days for free.
Yeah.
So you can do that, and they give you a free book, so you can get this book for free, basically.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to keep that Audible just ticking over the free books every month for 15
bucks.
Yep.
But also, I need to pay rent, so just buy the bloody thing.
Yeah.
Buy it. Buy 3 copies. Upsell them for 100% each. There might be a $50 bill in each one. I'm just saying.
There might be.
We're not on digital currency yet.
Buy a few boxes to find out.
There might be a Bitcoin. I don't know.
There might be a Charlie Chocolate Factory wrapper in there.
Yeah, there's an NFT in each book.
Yeah, I'm not
the
sure
book itself is an NFT. So there you go. Right.
Well, yeah. So yeah, that's out and about. Takes 2 weeks. So hopefully I'll finish this audiobook in 2 weeks. Then it takes another 2 weeks to get to the sellers, and then it's another 45 days till I see any cash. So interesting times because I mean, I paid rent last month. What do they want? Honestly.
Yeah, seriously.
I think it's super cool experience. I think it's just an awesome. I mean, if you've got a great voice, that suits it. It's a great thing that you can do from anywhere. Once you have like a portfolio of work or a couple of bits of work up and done, so you can say, look, this is what I've done. If anyone else wants their stuff done, I think it's awesome. You can do it from a beach if you wanted to.
The whole thing is awesome until you find out the numbers. It's like, what do you mean the website keeps 60%? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, audiobooks are popular. It's like, because the companies are gouging the creators.
They are. They always do. The creators have always been gouged traditionally.
Oh, exactly. Like Spotify. Spotify's huge. You can listen to new music, and
it's not doing anything good for artists.
Meanwhile, bands have to go to get a day job to survive. We got $3 this year from our 1 million plays. Ooh.
And I saw Marilyn Manson waiting at an IHOP, and I just thought, this is
what's that? What's a IHOP?
IHOP is International House of Pancakes.
Oh, right.
It's like the pancake parlor.
Sometimes you get a hankering for pancakes. Everyone gets a hankering sometimes.
He started his own pizza place called Marilyn Mozzarella.
No, Marlon. He owns a fish store. Marlon Manson.
He's got a fish store. Yeah, with a PH, the man fish from Vermont. Anyway.
Yes. Don't call him Brian. Anyway.
Yeah, traditionally the creators of and artists have always got screwed.
Well, it's been going on for over a century because back in around the turn of the 1900s, they had printed sheet music that you could sell and you could sing the songs at home. And there's a movie called Kiss Me Kate, and it's actually about what happened in 1903, this famous song Kiss Me Kate, and there's the gentleman who wrote it, printed it up, but someone got a copy of the print of the material and printed up their own copy, and that was when copyright started to kick in. It's kind of hard.
Week 2 of printers going on sale.
Yeah, basically
everything went haywire.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that we're still doing the same thing now, where MP3s and everything else and blah blah blah.
I wonder where Stephen Foster would be. He's the one that sang all the American greats. Something, something, do this song, do that.
Something, yeah. Yes. Now, speaking of doodahs, I can't think of a segue without being insulting. So, doodahs. Anyway, we've been joined by the mechanic as well as John Wayne, not the actor.
Fantastic.
Gentlemen, how are we?
AJW.
Doing good.
Mr. Wayne.
Good evening.
Yes, good. I'm good because it's interesting when nothing runs smoothly. The adrenaline kicks in and it's like, I'm having an awesome show, except for the two minutes of like,
hey, that was planned.
Gosh. Yeah.
Zenmas. Everyone just needs to just stop, press pause.
Yeah, 10,000 lives ago, we're all in our prospective wombs and thought, you know what, let's do this on this date because, it's a bit chipper. So,
stop and hug someone for 17 seconds minimum.
Well, no, not where you are. You'll be throwing. Like, your premier actually said, like, try not to mingle with your family during lockdowns. Like, go kill a koala.
I'm not sure why everyone's short-term memory keeps making them think like they can trust the media or what politicians said. I mean, what universe has time ended and we're all of a sudden in kind of lollipop land where we can trust the politicians and we can trust the media? I didn't think so. So I'm waiting for news to come from other people because I can't stand to watch it.
Yeah. Well, our restrictions are being lifted tomorrow at midnight. I don't know.
Why midnight? Midnight?
We would do partying at midnight, didn't you know?
Yeah. Because the coronavirus sleeps heavily, and so if we change things at midnight, they'll completely throw it off its whack when it wakes up at 8 o'clock in the morning.
No. What's the little thing that you can't feed past midnight?
Gremlins. Yeah. Don't get them wet. We told you the rules. It's so cute.
It's ridiculous.
Face bubble.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's still. I mean, people argue there's no virus. There's something out there, but it's the response from the government's completely thrown out of whack, and it's exposed how stupid they are. As David Icke says, and we say it a lot. We are ruled by psychopaths and run by idiots. And for the last 18 months, these idiots have proven it every day. Just look at Boris Johnson.
Yeah, stuck in the residue of stupidity now. When these things happen, and then you just leave it to the general public to try and work stuff out, but then they're only fed. It seems like they want to see news that's given to them on a plate. And
well, the UK is still in lockdown. They were supposed to lift their lockdown on the solstice, and a lot of people from the esoteric woo-woo conspiracy world's like, solstice, eh? Right, but they've extended it. Yeah, it's like and now it's been extended till I think the 21st of July or something. And like Nicole Arbour, a comedian from Canada who's doing really well in the United States, she's very lovely and funny. And she's she's very successful, and her short story is she was in a car accident, couldn't walk, and now she's doing awesome. Go find out the bits in between.
That's great.
But she's in Nashville.
Like that.
yeah. I mean, that's the condensed version on a matchbook. It's like,
you should start your own reverse news where it's just happy stories. I reckon people would tune in.
Yeah,
middle bit. She's a Terminator.
Yeah, well, yeah. She could be a time traveling killer robot. Anyway, she's in Tennessee. No masks, no lockdowns, no cases of COVID or deaths. I wonder if there's a connection.
She's a cutie.
Yeah. Oh, the mechanic has just come in and he's wiping his grease off his hands.
Yeah, I got to tell you, gentlemen, thanks for having me on the show. I really do appreciate it. The rumor is the reason they keep extending the lockdowns one after the other is that they are unsure whether it's the proper or right move to bring in the military.
All right.
Okay. So number one, they're getting pushback from their military. Okay.
Yeah.
Not just their military, but militaries all over the world.
That sounds like bringing in stories of whether China's going to start a war or not. I don't think so.
Well, I actually saw. I haven't watched it yet, but on YouTube, I think it's from Newsmax or something like, will China implode in 5 years? And like, I'm watching this. I haven't watched it yet, but I was like, I'm watching this later. But it fine because the perception is that these elitist, psychopathic, rude word I can't say on radio because I want to stay on.
What does it start with?
A letter.
What letter? We'll fill in the blanks. That's okay.
It doesn't rhyme with vagina. Anyway,
rhymes with orange.
Nothing rhymes with orange. Oh, right. Hey, yeah, that could take a while, John, and that's a visual medium as well. Okay, we've got three parts of the. Anyway, these elites, they're just cannon fodder and they're just dumbed down. It's like, try and say that in front of them when they're holding a weapon. They're smart enough to go, excuse me?
Monty, I want to state this. It come out today here in the States that they're going to start going around door to door and knocking on people's doors that haven't had this thing. Is that really that good of an idea?
No, actually, I saw a meme where it's because memes is life, ladies and gentlemen. How big's the John? You may know this. How big is the Chinese army? It's 2.5 million. Ish.
More.
I mean, it's big. Way more than what we've got.
No. This is where it comes in, because how many gun owners are in the United States?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Mr. Wayne.
I think someone's those founding fathers had a good idea. 70 million?
2 mil and 500,000 reserve military.
I don't think their citizens are armed lawfully, anyways.
Well, I read a report where it's saying 61% of the counties in the United States is sanctuary for Second Amendment rights. So yeah, man. I mean, a populace that's disarmed can be overthrown easily. I mean,
we've seen it over and over and over again.
Yeah, in the movies like Red Dawn, like that
everywhere.
That's a reason why no one has actually invaded the United States, because everyone and their child has a weapon. Like, this may take a while.
My uncle told me this past weekend was on not Iwo Jima, but he told me he was with the Southern Brigade
in the South Pacific.
The South Pacific, and there was Japanese on that island.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And they said that they cleaned them out because they were, people from the Confederacy and from the South, and they. So you tried it. I beg those. Anybody,
and also
Tricoms to come on in.
The Japanese at that time, there was a reason they kept Hitler alive, because he was insane. He was actually winning the war, allegedly, because we can get into Project Paperclip later on. But the Japanese, they were underfed. There's 2 great war movies that Clint Eastwood did, and I would recommend watching them not at the same time, because that'd be confusing, one after the other.
Elvis used to do that.
Yeah, I was like, watching both, and it hurts my head because I gotta read the Japanese one. But it's something of our fathers.
Ghost of Iwo Jima,
yeah, and then Letters of Iwo Jima, because they found a bag of letters, in 2006 or something, and it just showed the crap that the Japanese army went through. Because the Emperor's a god. No, it's like
a
Stalingrad
bag from the Japanese.
And actually it was
soldiers.
buried. Yeah, it was all a mailbag from the Japanese soldiers, and it was buried. And there was a Japanese archaeological team in the caves, because the Japanese obviously would see that as reverence in their military history as well, because it's even it's a loss. It's like, well, what actually happened here? Yeah. It was just fascinating to hear how the Japanese, because they had this elitist of we're better than anyone else, and like, yeah, good on you.
But in the end of the moments kind of thing, when they were writing it, did they start having a go at their emperor and stuff like that?
They probably didn't share those, strangely enough. It's like the Dead Sea Scrolls. We won't show them about reincarnation. Just keep that. It was just showing how they were basically on half a bowl of rice a day, and the officers had, no, you are honourable, brave men, go and slaughter those savages, and they'll just run towards a machine gun nest.
We will sit here with our dumplings.
Kamikaze.
Yeah, all that type of thing. But it's they made it at the same time, those 2 films, and the Letters from Iwo Jima was a co-production with the Japanese as well. So it's done very respectfully. And Clint's not like, look, we won. It's like, okay, this was it's a shocking battle. 5 days, and I mean there was probably 2 trees on the island before they started bombing. It's just basically a slag heap.
Can't be fun for anyone.
It's history.
No,
it's amazing.
It's and was made after Saving Private Ryan, and so Saving Private Ryan has that 20-minute opening scene, and veterans actually said the only thing missing from that was the smell, and they were glad of that, because you don't want to. But it was Spielberg got that part right.
Pretty hard.
But as Eddie Izzard pointed out, the Americans are storming the beach. Meanwhile, the Canadians, the British, the French, the Australians, the New Zealanders. Excuse me, we're here. Hello, but they're on different. They're on different.
They're
beaches.
ice skating. Yeah.
Regardless, without a doubt, though, I've been sitting back and listening to a lot of these World War II veterans chronicles where they sit down and interview them, and when they're towards the very end of their life. And, honestly, the last great generation, this generation in comparison to taking and holding on to what we hold dear within our countries, it's not there no more, man.
And putting their life on the line to do so, yeah.
Well, I can get very, very very now because like the far left Democrats during July 4th had a go at the flag and the country. Like, why are you here? If you don't like the country, leave. I mean, really, because Cortek and I are outsiders. Even we know it's about freedom, and
to have one fight for their country, though, they need to feel a place in their country. They need to feel like the country is doing something for them in the first place. And I think modern politics just doesn't give anyone a sense of inclusion or a sense that really it's there for them. I saw a post the other day. Someone tweeted. Sometimes you just have to see or hear these words out loud to really cement them as steps in working this out. And someone tweeted or something. Governments are not beyond, sacrificing or killing the people of their country if it suits their own agenda. And next sentence. How many examples do you need? It happens over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to have some fun of a team getting out on the field and having a lot of experience, just look at the Israeli army. I think they go to war every 3 months since 1947.
Oh, they're constantly at war.
Yeah, no, it's like
since they were put in place in
1947. If you look at all the history of the Israeli military since 1947, they kept that. More? Yeah, 6 days war, or
it's mandatory for every one of their citizens to do a term,
sprint. They do a sprint. They don't do a marathon like the English and the French that went for 88 years, and so they call it the 100-Year War. They just do a couple of weeks and then have a rest.
And they kind of round it to the highest,
Yeah,
number.
It's not a war; it's a way of life, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's almost the same type of thinking of how can 52 people that are connected to the Clintons all commit suicide. It's statistically not possible. Maybe it's them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed is with what's going on over in Ukraine, I mean, they're still in trench warfare. They've been in trench warfare for the past 4.5, 5 years, if not a little bit long. And, the thing is this country hasn't seen an internal conflict since 1865. Okay. These countries there are still, reeling from World War II. I mean, they really are. I mean, it's not a joke. I mean, there's still all these restrictions. You got the United Nations. Before that was the Council of Foreign Relations after World War I. And now, well, by God, they need another huge war, and they're trying to get it.
It was a pedantic man here. League of Nations. The Council of Foreign Relations start wars.
Pedantic man, here he comes.
The League of Nations was actually voted down because Woodrow Wilson kind of sought after it unilaterally.
Yeah.
And the country was so sick of war after World War I, and the monstrosities of trench warfare.
We don't need a team of bullies.
Yeah, no, actually, and also and to help that as well, the Arabs said, "You're screwing us. We're leaving," and the Arabs just left, and it fell apart. Because like Lawrence of Arabia is a great film, especially 1964 or something. It's like it goes for 3 hours. Like, how did they make this? And they're all tribes.
Is how they made it.
Yeah,
they got boot polished and thought people wouldn't notice.
All right.
That guy was amazing, by the way. He wrote many grimoires, or he published many other like occult books and things.
Yeah. But the way that so like World War One and especially World War Two, I think World War One they set up all the borders, and that's why you've got who were the tribe in northern
Sunni
Iraq?
and Shia? The terrorists?
No.
Peacock angel worshipping.
No. You're going on a rabbit hole here. But anyway, they'll basically attack the Kurds. That's it.
Kurds.
Their land was cut in half by an international border, and so they're half in Syria and half, I think Syria, but half in Iraq. And that's just some Englishmen going, "Oh, this looks good. Look, there's oil there, so we'll put a line
down here."
Yeah.
No, it was actually I think what's his name, Churchill.
Oh yes, yeah. He saved England, but a lot of people were very happy when he died.
No, Iraq was carved out by the controllers after World War One, and the Ottoman Empire fell. Yeah.
Sean David Morton recommended a great TV show starring Sam Neill. What's his name again?
Love Sam Neill.
Sam Neill.
Yeah, I know the actor's name, but what's the name of the show? You twat.
Twin Peaks.
Sydney someone. He's like the first international spy, and they as a sort of a B story, they explain that why am I saying Sidney Poitier? That's a completely different person. Very good actor as well.
Who's my favorite actor?
Ace of Spies. The TV show is called Ace of Spies, and it starts just before around World War One, and they were trying to steal some oil prospective surveys, so the English would get it and get control, and it just goes on. He was actually part of
because they didn't have it in already.
Yeah, there's not enough oil in Surrey. Strangely enough, like, we have to go somewhere where it's sandy and steal all their oil.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, because the British Empire and all that. Yeah, after World War II, they changed the name to Commonwealth. Yeah.
Here's a question I've got for everybody from on the panel. So, a war that's really forgotten that did take place within this country, or the very possibilities of a beginning conflict, was called the Bonus Wars, where after World War One, can't remember the president at the time for whatever reason, they were to be compensated for their pay, and the government the government reneged on it several times, and these people they got together and they marched on the Capitol. That's not mentioned anywhere. Nobody ever talks about it.
43,000 demonstrators, quite a few people.
Yeah, back then.
And Patton led the armored division during that, and they did kill World War I veterans in defense of the Capitol. This is stuff in history that just is never mentioned for whatever reason.
Incredibly interesting. What was the outcome at the end of it? It was almost like a coup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is it a coup? Like, sorry, John.
Coup.
The insurrection of January 6th is like, yeah, but if you look at it, the people that weren't armed, Granny with a flag got into the Capitol building, and it just turned into a college road trip. The idea was that they were stopping the it wasn't ratified. What the college votes, they did that ceremony where they locked it in. It's like, yeah, this is real. But that was part of, because the election was stolen, and then Congress voted on that and said, yes, that's the result. They were actually trying to stop the insurrection. Yeah, that blew your heads off. Yeah.
You're talking about the bonus army and not what happened most recently.
I'm talking about what's now. Bonus army, we can go back 2,000 years to Rome and the way that they treat veterans then. It hasn't changed.
Same with creatives, same thing,
Yeah.
The soldiers go out and do their business for all the things, and then they get treated like shit. Creatives, pretty much try and get a vision of what a better world could look like, and then someone steals the idea.
No. Oh, sorry, I'm reading what Harry's saying. Sydney Mints. No, strange man. But yeah. World War One. That's right. I was thinking. Just look at the veterans of the Vietnam War. because the perception is that the Americans lost, and so everyone that went there was just shunned. It took 15 years for the Vietnam veterans in Australia to have a homecoming parade.
It's pretty sad that the actual soldiers were used as kind of, the cannon fodder for people's opinions at the time that there should not be any war. It really wasn't their fault. Most of the people who were really going to Vietnam were doing it for the right reasons, completely the right reasons.
Yeah, and Afghanistan it's been longer than the Vietnam War, and apparently the U.S. military has left one of their air bases, but they've left all the cars and there's no keys in the ignitions, and they didn't even leave a note. And I'm like, well, that's Biden's America for you. See, I'm doing what everyone did for the last 4 years. Anything that happens in government, you blame the president.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Biden has no clue what's going on, of course. Actually, there's been a recent poll, and 60% of Americans, well, the 1,000 people they actually asked, believe that someone else is controlling the country and it's not Biden. And it's like, interesting.
I mean, that's the way I look at it. I mean, that's what it looks like.
I mean, we know all about it because straight off the bat, it's like, why is this demented, touchy-feely person?
Why is he whispering into the mic again?
Who knows? Like, just
talking about all the business I did.
It's only been 5.5 months. It's like
I wrote the bill.
You guys seen the video where he's at this little mom and pop shop. He's buying some cherry sodas and I think some cookies or I don't have any idea. And he's standing there. Somebody sticks a great big boom mic in his face and says, "Mr. President, what about the most recent cyber attacks on several companies within the United States?" And this is supposed to have happened like a day or two ago. I haven't really heard nothing about any of it.
He should have known about it by then.
He's like, and then he's like, well, let me look at my notes here. No shit. He literally grabs out of his pocket, out of his shirt, his jacket pocket, sets of notes and starts reading off what he needs to say.
Yeah, how many times have you heard him say, "No, I'm going to get in trouble for this"? It's like, aren't you supposed to be the leader of the free world? And like, how many handlers do you have, Grandpa?
Yeah, who's your mummy? So who's gonna get the belt out?
Yeah, excuse. I'm calling a lid on today. I need to get under a blanket and I have a Horlicks. So I don't think they have Horlicks in the United States because I've said that joke before. And everyone's like, "What the hell?" It's like a nighttime drink. I don't know.
The word's got licks in it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Tone. Phrasing. Anyway, I'm gonna have fun trying to name this show because I realise we're just going all over the place.
This bonus army thing is super interesting. I've never heard of it.
What year? So it's what? 1918, 1919, 1920. When did it actually happen?
Bonus Army was a group of 43,000 demonstrators made up of 17,000 U.S. World War I veterans, together with their families and affiliated groups who gathered in Washington, D.C. in mid-1932 to demand early cash redemption of their service certificates.
32.
Yeah, we won't pay you. We'll just give you these certificates that you could redeem at Disneyland or Disney dollars.
At the height of the recession. Yeah.
Scumbags.
Well, they can't shot at.
Scumbags. Every single turn you see the governments of the world acting like scumbags. Leaving Iraq, we won't, do this nicely. We've got this surplus equipment. You guys may as well use it. Here's the keys. No, we'll be assholes and leave it with the keys. It's just, can't we do things better? Can't we?
Well, we can, but they can't because the last week there was actually. Give me a moment, John, and then remember what you're going to say because you can add afterwards. Here in Australia, there's a problem with the AstraZeneca vaccines. The contract was for $5 billion, and people aren't allowed to look at the contract because of national security. So we'll get to that later. John, go ahead.
Tricky.
Well, I just wanted to say, generally, military vehicles don't have any keys.
Oh,
well, yeah. Let's be fair. I got this information from a journalist website.
Okay, that could be user error times two then.
And apparently it's 90%. So I'm just waiting for something to go wrong because Taliban is doing everything. It's
all right. We're just commenting on hearsay.
Yeah, basically.
Who knows?
It's basically it's basically kicking the can down the road.
Yeah, but I was just kind of being funny myself.
Well, I mean,
No,
you
it's
sort of
fair,
have to have,
cool.
you've got to have some type of gallows humor because it releases the energy, and it's like, really, okay, what's Grandpa Grabby Joe doing now? And
I reckon
I
he'd be
stopped
having a
watching.
little nap.
Yeah, he plays micro naps standing in front of it. Great quotes from leaders of the Western world. Huh? Where are we? So yeah, I like how people deserve the government they get. No, because
Never.
I don't see no.
I find it really kind of interesting, juxtaposed against what the impression we think of Joe as how. I mean, I guess it was probably just Putin being a complete statesman, but like he said, he was like, he was reasonably coherent. He kind of seemed to be a man who knew what he wanted to achieve. He's just probably being nice, isn't he?
No, he's being sarcastic. He's like this is a Western type of comedy, and this will go over great in Idaho.
It's a translation error. Yeah.
Yes. No. You have to put tongue in cheek when I say this.
I've seen those translators at the UN. They just make shit up. You hear the real words and you see what they do. They go, oh, sorry, I was thinking about something else. I'm going to cut corners and just write something completely different than what.
Yeah, or they translate all the threats from Iran, or we're going to bomb. It's like even Iran and Israel, they'd be going, oh, we're going to destroy each other. It's like, yeah, it's been decades. Shut up.
Yeah, doesn't that little photo that Yahoo probably got into? He got into some kind of session of something, and he had the little picture of the classic what's that? Warner Brothers bomb with the fuse coming out the end, and like he was showing people, like, and he actually got up with that. Is that supposed to be some kind of real anything but hilarious?
Well, meanwhile, there was a
that for
cyber
diction?
attack.
Sorry, Brandon, say that again.
There was a cyber attack, I think, this weekend on the infrastructure of the some businesses that was related to Russia. So it's interesting.
In which country?
Timing of it all. United States.
They keep blaming Russia.
Yeah. There's nothing. I also saw this week there's actually quite a few real like natural disasters going on. That funny mud that started out like a fiery kind of, I guess vortex of oil or something coming up.
Yes. A lot of people going, see, look, this is capitalism. It's like, yeah, unfortunately, that's a nationalized oil company in Mexico, so it's run by the government. So that's socialism.
Yeah, I'd like to think that it was just an accident too, but there's nothing like a little bit of natural disaster to distract from how poorly, people who are supposed to be doing a good job.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's an environmental disaster, it's an energy disaster, and there's knock-on effects, and gas is going to go through the roof, much more than it is now. But you've saved 16 cents from last July 4th. Thanks, Joe. But it's like I find the comedic mind just kicks in when you have 3 tugboats trying to water down a fire that's in the sea.
Need submarine. You need submarine firefighting equipment for that kind of business.
Yeah, or maybe.
And I know hoses in a submarine aren't going to work as well. I mean, some kind of special whiz bang underwater
kitty
something.
Litter on it.
Yeah, underwater kitty litter.
If you want to get down to like bottom brass tacks, is probably what it is. There are a lot of shifts that the Earth's taking right now and going through tectonically and with volcanism. See, what was it? You had that incident in the Gulf of Mexico where this gas line ruptured and was, shooting flames out of the ocean, unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Oh, crazy, huh?
Just a day later, off the coast of Azerbaijan in the Caspian Sea, there was a underwater volcano that went off.
The mud one. It's like it's making its own island kind of thing, little bit by bit.
I just I warn people in areas that are earthquake-ridden, man. You guys and those folks over in New Zealand, you better hold on to your arses.
They're right on a split. Right.
And thank you for the Australian New Zealand translation there, John. Brilliant. But yeah, it's nothing wrong being aware of it. It's not like we have to leave, because you probably wouldn't be able to leave because New Zealand's in lockdown again. I'm sure. But if you,
I thought you were talking interplanetarily.
Oh well, that too. You have to drop body first, unless you're a billionaire. And a lot of people's like Jeff Bezos is going to go into space, and a lot of people said, "Can we block him from coming back?"
No, but then you can ski with an American flag like Zuckerberg, you know.
Oh, that was taking the shit out of, wasn't it? So Zuckerberg on Independence Day, I think on the 4th, he got up on like one of those hydrofoil surfboards with a flag. And it's like, what a douche. This is what you real humans do, is it? I'm a real human.
Speaking of time traveling killer robot, but at least he had the flag, because it's. Did anyone on the call get a message in Facebook saying, "Have you been exposed to extremist views?"
No.
Well, it must be us then. We're sharing the extremist views. I shared a great meme of this loving family. John, you would have loved it. There's a loving family, mother and father. They're hugging. They've got their 3 kids around them. They're in a field. The sun's shining, and at the top it just says "right-wing extremism." Because you can't have a family. It's
family is extreme.
It's only been happening for hundreds of thousands of years. It's
only the foundation of life.
It's like everyone's gay. It's like how are you going to make that means the end of the humanity.
That means no one's gay. Yeah. If everyone's gay,
I don't know if you guys had the chance to watch the video from band.video, Infowars.com. The 10 stages of genocide. And
no.
And I'm going to tell you. Well, I mean, this is where they're taking things, right? Look what they've done with this shot.
We got to be at stage by the throat. Yeah.
This is truly horrific what these people have done.
Yeah. I think you're completely right. We need to keep focused on what's going on. It's been a year now that we've been held hostage like this, and Stockholm syndrome's starting to set in for some people. It's like, but if we just do this, then we'll be able to go international travel again, and blah 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 blah. It's like, how do you believe anything these people are saying? How do you have such a short memory?
Mainly because it's a coping mechanism, and you're dealing with humans. You're dealing with humans where, this happened again. Yeah, it's like people that live on a floodplain. Keywords there, floodplain. Oh, we lost everything in the flood, like last time. Where do you live on a floodplain?
Build on stilts.
Yeah, you live on a floodplain. Guess what happens?
And then they're manipulating the populace to this effect, to where have you heard of this incident that took place at this? I don't even want to call it an establishment, but in San Francisco, where a person exposed themselves in the ladies' room, and he's a male, and now you've got people there protesting this. Okay, this was over the past couple of days, and I was completely unaware of it. The news is not talking about any of this anywhere.
Maybe he identifies himself as a female and couldn't find the urinal.
Yeah.
I'm not waiting in line.
Yeah, but it was in front of a 12-year-old, and the mother basically lodged a complaint, understandably, and she got in trouble. It's like, how dare you?
I'd lodge a complaint after kicking them right between the legs.
It's like I was saying there the other day, they're going to start mobilizing this 5th column. It's taken in kind of a different shape than what I thought it was going to take. So they've got these prayer march guys wearing white masks, blue shirts, khaki BDU pants, and combat boots, all carrying flags. The response I was hearing from the people on the streets of color and ethnicity were saying, "Oh my God, look at that! That's the new KKK." Okay.
Yeah.
You have that aspect. At this spa thing, you have preachers and street preachers protesting what is taking place, and they've got Antifa there clubbing these people over the head and kicking them to hell in the curbs of the streets.
Yeah. But that's just an idea, according to the president.
Oh yeah, it's just you're right.
I don't doubt that the manipulation of public groups like that is still going on. Far beyond what we saw and what was publicly easy to see and just write off. It's still going on. There may not be so public ads in the paper anymore to hire these people and bricks in the street for them to throw it through the window, but you got to think that it's still going on.
No, well, everyone. It's like the lockdowns. I don't try and say pandemic, but the lockdowns. They're using the primal fear of death, even though you've got 99% chance of living, and the vaccines are only 95% chance. And it's funny where all these people who are fully vaccinated are still getting COVID, and they're pushing this. Apparently, there's a Lambda strain now in Australia because they've gone to the Greek alphabet. Because
did they think if everyone started using Delta the world over, then people would start to think that it's actually in the vaccine?
No. If you actually say like the Indian variant, it's racist. Oh. So due to racism, it's now Greek letters of the alphabet. So the alpha strain. But the thing is, every time there's a new variant of the virus, they actually it's weaker. It's more. What's the word? Infectious, because that's the virus trying to survive. Its strength's gone, and so it's adapted to try and be more infectious to get as much as out. But the immune system
ultimately it gets weaker and weaker though, and it has to be revived. By people.
Ultimately,
it should die out.
About it to build the strength. That's what has to go happen. So. Let me play this real quick. It's really short.
Please do.
It's 25 seconds. This is Jen. I'm a big Pasky.
She's just another ranger. She's just a ranger.
Hey, redheads are awesome. Don't judge redheads by her.
Fire in the veins, no doubt. I've had my addiction, and thank God I'm over it. All right.
More healthcare settings and respond to hotspots. The president will outline 5 areas his team is focused on to get more Americans vaccinated. 1, targeted community-by-community, door-to-door outreach to get remaining Americans vaccinated by ensuring they have the information they need on how both safe and accessible the vaccine is. 2, a renewed emphasis on getting the vaccines to more primary care doctors and physicians, something that we've seen more health.
They know what's actually in it. And also, remember, was it My Body, My Choice? Remember those good old days?
And me personally, look, I can't talk for everybody, just me. As for me, I want them. Please send a couple doctors, maybe a nurse, some PR, send a cop. I don't give a damn. They will leave on their own accord. I won't have to say much, gentlemen.
No, it did sound like it was
an awareness I won't campaign. Have to say much. They will turn right around. And it's just me being who I am. It won't take much. But I am looking forward to. I'm ready now. I know at any time during the day that I'm home 5 days a week.
Tea. This is going to be great.
Try these cookies.
I'm going to film the whole thing. I'm going to film the whole thing.
Of course you will.
I'm telling you right now, NSA, do yourselves a favor. Do the health department. Do Biden a favor. Do anybody who's you're going to send out here a favor, and just don't. Just don't.
Yeah, no, I know it's a comedy show, but let's go a tad dark. Come September, that's 9 months after the.
September. That's a great month for the military here in America. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, well, I forgot to say as well, week 68 to flatten the curve.
Oh, thank you. Yes. 68. I got tired of doing the election anyway. Yeah. To the flying spaghetti monster. What a great. Yeah. Well,
just I'm telling you, God.
Not if you're in a female's toilet. Now,
if you are in the toilet.
9 months after the vaccine rolls out, roughly September, and so what are we going to see with fertility and birth rates? Not much comedy there, so we'll just end it there. But just something interesting to see what will happen, because
I think Elon Musk has spoken about this. He said, "Well,
Yeah.
we can see the numbers about how many people we had, how many people the world had last year. We can see the numbers on how many people we've got this year or the last 2 years, and we can project that 20 years, and we can see."
I saw Elon Musk on Joe Rogan. It was like, yeah, okay. Then I saw him on Saturday Night Live. I'm like, but
yeah,
my thing with
I don't proclaim that he's any kind of great.
No.
He's just someone who came in with a lot of money from an emerald mine from South Africa, isn't he?
Well, allegedly, because there is a video out there. So like, well, he faked this, blah 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 blah. I mean, he has ideas, and what he's doing, he's allowed to do. Because Bill Gates wants to put a chip in you. Oh, that's bad. Elon Musk wants to put a chip in you. Oh, that's good. It's like
that's cool.
No chip. No.
I always saw him as a figure to try and stymie the enthusiasm for space travel. Someone to show Branson that they were doing something, but then to eventually, like all sci-fi space movies, show that it's you don't want to do it, either because we're not allowed up there or because we can't.
That's fun. My life, I can actually see how the movie Children of Men and Elysium come to fruition.
Those are both great. Yeah.
Yeah, well, especially the way that Matt Damon gets a broken arm because he says to a robot a joke and it didn't get it, strangely enough, and it just breaks his arm. I'm like, don't be funny to the Terminator.
That Children of Men movie, though, was incredibly powerful. Like, you would think that you were traveling along with your protagonist kind of thing, and then they get killed, and you'd kind of then have to struggle to kind of, guide yourself along the other story where the movie was going, and then they got killed, and then all, the people that you thought were the most important. It was the first movie to do that for me. It was powerful.
Oh, I haven't seen it, so I'll add that to the list. I have watched, I think, is it Arthur C. Clarke, Children's End, or Childhood's End?
Childhood's End.
Yeah, and Charles Dance,
the guy from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and many other things. He's in The Golden Child. I watched all the Eddie Murphy movies from the 80s. And yeah, he's in a lot of things. He's very good, but it's fascinating. John, I recommend it because you'll probably freak out because the way that these aliens, the overseers, come to the planet and basically cure everything. But he looks exactly the same as the devil. He's like 9 feet tall, got wings, got a foot long horns and everything. And basically at the end,
he is the devil.
Yeah, that's the whole. Yeah. It's the sort of the whole premise where like, oh yeah, you'll be fine for about 60 years, and then we're destroying you.
It's interesting. I think of I've been thinking of this here lately. The petroglyphs that have been written on, like stone walls and out in the middle of the American Southwest of the vortices and the different figures that they put on these things. And I was watching a documentary about some place like Diablo Canyon or Devil's Well or something like that, And they had somebody with graffiti had literally drew this huge devilish looking creature. Millions of years from now, when we cease to exist and this thing we call Earth is repopulating and resurfacing from the next great extinction it's happening right now. It's been going on for the past 250, 300 years, the sixth great extinction. If you don't believe me, look it up.
And also
the people that are going to come to repopulate this Earth after our species is done are going to look at them and be like, what in the name of God is that?
Yeah,
right?
That's a Pikachu. What the hell's a Pikachu?
Yeah.
What, you pick and chew? What is that?
It's a Pokemon monster.
Yeah. The Earth was destroyed by all these Pokemon and things running about. That's why I had to catch them. Because that far ahead of time, where there's that disconnect of you've only got say 3% of the knowledge of what's going on. They have to fill in the rest of the story. And so that a version of how did they live 3 million years ago? Well, there was these evil Pokemons, and they had to go and they used children to go and capture these vast beasts. Well,
we only found one of their lore device phone things. It only had one app on it, Pokemon Go.
Yes, we are at the halfway point, and you're listening to Revolution Radio Studio A. This is Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. You're awesome. Stick around for these messages, and we'll be back right after them. Yeah. And welcome back to Planet Collingwood. My name is Monty Dean. You're on Studio A, Revolution Radio. If you enjoyed the last hour, please go to freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio and donate what you can. Click on the Patreon button, $5 a month, and you get to keep this station on air because we're 100% listener supported. So thank you for all your support, as well 100% volunteer. I think Cortek gets paid. But anyway, and Planet Collingwood is filmed in front of a live studio audience. And I have been joined by Brandon Young, Cortek, the mechanic, and John Wayne, not the actor. I just like saying that. And he's never said don't do that. So, I could call him Marion, but I'm not sure how many people would get that joke.
Right. I don't get it.
John Wayne's original birth name is Marion. It's like bold move by his parents, and you can see why he changed it.
That's why it was such a killing machine.
Yeah. He said one derogatory thing about race in 1978. So, he's a racist. Like, okay, yeah, he still fought for freedom.
Those kids that their parents called them Mary.
He got on a boat. He got on a boat on a harbor in Orange County, California, and did an interview. I believe it was Newport. He did an interview where he called out social justice warriors. I think this was 70s.
What did he say?
Yeah, it'd be late 70s.
He just said something along the lines of we're creating it's somewhere along the lines of, I'm not sure how he put it, like not like victims, but it was more of an older style. I got it. You know what? Why don't we just play it? I'll go find it.
Okay.
All right. Sounds cool.
Probably I'm dealing with victimhood. And being exactly. In California, like in the audiobook I'm doing now, Light to Darkness, Robert Wiegand tells his story, and he grew up in the 70s in Los Angeles, and they were progressive back then. The thing is about progressiveness is to move humanity forward, but they seem to be going backwards. They don't know the word. Trans rights and all these other rights. I'm for human rights.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I have seen it once, and I'm going to watch it again in the next couple of days.
So Quentin is doing rounds right now, and I got to talk to him for a few minutes.
Ooh.
Quentin Tarantino, because he did my friend's podcast recently. But he did Rogan and he did Mark Maron, and he's coming out with this book about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I watched the film, and it's amazing. It's a great film. If you're a Bruce Lee fan, if you're, they don't make actors the way they do now. You know what I mean?
No.
Back then. Yeah.
Well, it's like there is All Quiet on the Western Front, which it came out at the same time.
McQueen,
yeah. That was a movie that basically had everyone in Hollywood, because I'm not sure, I haven't seen it, or if I have, I can't remember it. I don't think there's one major the war is the major character, and so you've got everyone doing little bit parts, which kind of makes sense because the amount of people involved. And you just sit there and go, oh, it's that guy, oh, it's her, it's him, it's her. You can't really do that now, because it's like, who's that? Oh, she's hot but dumb. Who's that? So yeah, there aren't anyone like Gene Hackman around. There aren't actual actors.
Or even war veterans, you know what I mean?
There's that too.
Real, like one of the lead characters, Brad Pitt's character, is a veteran of the Vietnam War, which is why he's such a badass in the film, kind of,
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. So
a lot of actors that took part in World War II as well, right? I mean, singers, Elvis Presley.
That's right.
Did Gone with the Wind. What I can't think of his name. The mustache guy.
Clark Gable.
Clark Gable. Right. Clark Gable. He was in the Air Force. So it's just interesting.
Yeah. I've been reading the history of Doctor Who, and there's like 90 volumes of it because there's a lot of shows. But they do profiles of all the actors, and everyone basically, I think 95% of the old actors everyone was involved in the war effort because.
Wow, really?
Yeah, well, if you remember, the Battle of Britain saved England because Hitler wanted to have supremacy in the skies, but the Allies, it just wasn't the British because I can't remember. I think Americans were part of it by then.
Yeah.
But the Canadians and Polish and just everybody, it's fascinating. Australians, everyone, like the Commonwealth and the West, anyone except for Germany and Russia, basically, fought it off. And because they couldn't get supremacy, Hitler, they were going to invade England. There's the movie Battle of Britain, which usually gets shown every year on the start date of Battle of Britain or when it's commemorated or recognised. And there's a great shot of all these German soldiers being handed life preservers. And then, 25 minutes later in the film, at the end, they're all handing them back because their plans didn't work. Because England was the last bastion. Because it was an island, they had that buffer of the English Channel. Because the Germans with their blitzkrieg just blitzed, strangely enough. So there you go. Now, mechanic. Go ahead.
Just let me know.
If I could, real quick, another good movie, Das Boot, the boat.
Yes. From the German perspective, yeah.
Absolutely, and nobody really, the Submariners very rarely get mentioned, but you talk about the wolf packs and the complete and total shutdown of shipping lanes. I mean, it's really truly amazing to see how technology has been used for war and war only, generally.
Well, that's how
it's been used to starve out entire countries.
Yeah, I was going to bring up airplanes and aircraft. Was it in the early 60s, late 50s? Berlin was under siege, and there was a plane landing every 4 minutes to resupply the city because it was surrounded. You find it strange that the Wright brothers I'm going to get the date wrong, but in 1908, you say that, in 61 years, from two bicycle repair guys with canvas and balsa wood got lift. Yeah, they allegedly we went to the moon, and that's only 6 decades. Well, we did, but what we saw.
And then we forgot the technology of how to go back.
I know, which basically means the extraterrestrials that helped us won't help us again. Moving on. But the only reason that the airlines or aircraft and planes evolved was through the war machine. It was there to try and kill people. And even Sean David Morton points out, how did Germany go from the soft with camels, the biplanes, and in 20 years have the greatest war machine on earth?
That's right. The Vril Society, wasn't it?
Yeah. Once again, bloody ETs.
Sorry, was that a rhetorical question?
No. Well, I mean, look at the audience, Cortek. We're pretty cluey. we know a lot of stuff.
I mean, look, a lot of the exchange for sentences was based on their relinquishing copyrighted technology.
You talking about paperclip?
What's that?
You talking about paperclip specifically?
I am.
Yeah. Okay.
I am. If you go, I actually have the list and link to every government patent pertaining to weather modification, rain systems controlling hurricanes.
What's the count on those? For like a rough ballpark number on how many actual patents there are?
Over 200.
Yeah.
Over 200.
No, 200. Not 1 million. Thank you, Dr.
Projects.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Like, I'm a patriot. I love America. Look at all their scientific advancement. Yeah, most of them were Nazis. What?
Yeah, exactly. And I tell you what, it's the year. These are very peculiar. If you take a look at the years when the copyrights were handed over to the U.S. government, it's between 1947 and 1954.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and without going too off the beaten path.
Yeah, I just turned wrenches. I got this video here lined up by Mr. Wayne. This is great. You're gonna love
Yeah,
this.
well, we'll do John Wayne because I was just going to open up another can of worms where I've forgotten it, and there's a reason for it. So this is John Wayne talking about takes apart liberals, feminists, and white guilt. So anyone that's offended, why are you listening to this? But grain of salt. Now, this is, does it say when he actually, so this is the late 70s?
1975. I believe
mid 70s, yeah. And so, I don't think I've heard it, so let it rip.
Yeah, let's do it.
Patriotism has never wavered, but today he's a little disillusioned with modern America.
We're being represented by men who are kowtowing to minorities where they can get votes. And I think it's bad for our country. And I am sad to see minorities make so much of themselves as a hyphenated American. I wish they'd all get to thinking that they're Americans as they should, and as they have luckily been born here and couldn't be better off in any other place. There shouldn't be so much whining and bellyaching.
I love this guy.
In the late 60s, early 70s, there was a period of considerable change. Civil rights for blacks, equal rights for women. Has this made America a better place?
I am saddened by the fact that although we were a matriarchy, I think we will not be any longer. I think opening doors and tipping your hat to ladies is probably a thing of the past. The forerunners of the women's liberation of today have taken that feeling away from the average American man.
But what about the civil rights? I mean, it's necessary.
What about the civil rights?
Well, we have 20 million blacks on this continent.
Right.
It was necessary to extend rights to them that perhaps for the first 199 years were denied them in this free America.
I guess that they've had a pretty tough break, but not quite as bad as you and your do-gooder friends would have them believe. They live as well here as they live in any other country over that 199 years. True, I think they do have a right to more rights, but it isn't a thing where the rest of the country should feel terribly guilty about anything because they have had a better life here and their fathers and mothers than they would have had any place else. And I want to see them have everything. I don't squawk and cry baby and say, geez, I had to go without meals when I was 16 and 17 years old. It's a terrible thing. I don't think that you should look back and whine and bellyache or try to hold somebody else guilty for it.
Yeah. And chop. That's the end of the video. And I can see where he's coming from, where it's that idea, because I've mentioned on the show a couple of times, the being an American is an idea, not how Joe Biden talks about Antifa. Joe Biden, you know, that dumb Joe Biden. That's right, mother lover, Joe Biden talking crap again. Like being Australian, it's an idea. It doesn't matter your genetic makeup or where you're from. It's an idea of, you treat equally. So I can see where people have balked at what he said. It's like, because they think he's being pushed into like, white man good, everyone else bad. It's like he's seeing everyone as equal. In a basic
the way
sense.
he's saying it is really cool. Like he's gonna punch the guy in the face.
Oh yeah, he's cranky. He's very cranky, and I can understand.
Well,
like,
he's fed up with the bullshit.
Yeah, and you can see as well, like even now, like minorities rule, and it shouldn't be that. Like the minorities should be accepted by the majority, and there's that equalization where it's like, you do that, awesome. It shouldn't like I have to kowtow or whatever, bend the knee. Thank you, bend the knee to them. All this type of stuff because it's like I'm a black man. Well, yes, you are.
I'm a white man. How are you?
Yeah, there's an expectation of additional rights. It's the same with the female. It's the same with the gay dude. It's the same with the transgender. It's the same with anybody who's not white. If you're white, you have no expectations of anything extra. All your privileges have been shut down. You get nothing. In fact, stay home, lock the door, close the blinds, Nobody wants to see you, Whitey. You should be ashamed of yourself for being born with such a color. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Morrison.
Exactly.
Marion Morrison.
More
He
and
was
more every day.
power.
Oh, I
He
love
was
Van Morrison.
truth to power. Okay. He was, when he spoke them words that you just heard, hey man, that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's all the
You could hear
bullshit.
it.
Everything put aside.
Yeah, I just got a message
He
from
was an actor.
William
Sorry,
Grant, from Bill Grant. It's Blow Jiden. Just pointing that out for you.
Is Bill
And I'm
Grant
like-
still around?
Oh, Jiden
How do you
and
Bill
Chlamydia
Grant?
Harris.
Yeah, that's the ticket I'm voting for. Hello.
Tell Bill Grant to give me a call. Drop me a line. Come
There
on,
you go. It's Sweet Willie the Joy Grant.
Billy Boy.
Please,
Billy Boy.
please call B Young, yo.
He's the best.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm flummoxed. I like that word. But yeah, it's an idea. Like here in Australia, anyone is allowed fill out some forms. I know that's very un-Australian, but fill out some forms and leave your negative crap everywhere else. Because like,
Can I just say,
you can see it through food. I'll just mini rant on. You can see it through food. Like we have Indian food, we have Pakistani food, we have the souvlaki, we have everything. Thai, and we don't care. I mean, I'm having pizza in about an hour, and it's Italian, but still, it's like that's what I find interesting about the United States. You've still got all this.
Tomatoes didn't come. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you want to go racism through food, the carrot actually came from Afghanistan.
The
Racist.
potato came from Atlantis.
South America. Yes.
No, but it'd be funny.
The pizza
came
from Italy.
In that clip, you know how it ends. The next part 2, it opens with John Wayne on the boat, and he's grilling something, and it's the reporter's head.
Well, I told you not to talk back.
What kind of civil rights? What are
you gotta pass me that mic.
Yeah, cameraman, are you gonna argue with me? But yeah, because like a Public Enemy fan, and they name drop John Wayne. Oh, he's a racist. It's like, well, no, yeah, that's the one with the clock around his neck.
Enemy, though.
Yeah. Well,
they've
recently gone a bit woke in the.
Have they? I haven't heard the latest stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
no. Public Enemy went woke.
Yeah, today's woke. They're awakened.
Come on, dude. It's over. Forget about it.
Yeah, pictures or it didn't happen.
Wu-Tang Clan smokes weed. What?
What? Yeah, they're not a fan of the old Donnie Trump.
Bushwick Bill is small.
Is he?
No.
Yeah, he's a midget or something. Yeah.
Dearie me. All right, so dig up, stupid. The first 20 seasons of The Simpsons is awesome. Stop there. Just stop.
Hey, by the way, Conan O'Brien, farewell. And,
yes.
Good run. He was a Simpsons writer. Did the monorail episode famously.
Mono.
And great guy. Mono meaning one, and rail meaning rail.
And so the cosmic ballet continues. Does anyone want to swap seats with me? So too many in jokes for the Simpsons.
Simpsons are the best. If you're not a fan of the Simpsons, God bless you.
Do you remember? Do you remember? I think it was 1990 or 1991, where the president of the United States came out and said, "The Simpsons are against family values." And I'm thinking,
yes,
yeah, but George, Mr. CIA runs George Bush, CIA operative, doesn't remember where he was on the shooting of JFK, and there's a photo of him in Dallas, and who runs the runs the drug trade. Shut up.
CIA. Yeah.
Shut
up.
Really, George? Shut up.
Surprisingly, a nice guy in person. At Kennebunkport, Maine, we used to go up there, and with different people, but like we went fishing, and he didn't know what was going on. He was like Biden, at that time. He was older.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Junior's just you can see the plan was to get Jeb in, and he lost, so the dumb one got in.
Jeb's speeches
was Barbara Bush was wearing the pants. Barbara Bush was wearing the pants.
Oh,
I mean, she's a snake.
Would you like to hear a theory, a conspiracy theory about Barbara Bush? She is the love child of Alistair Crowley.
That's not a conspiracy theory, bro. That's not a conspiracy theory, bro. What, are you afraid? What, Monty?
No, it's a comedy show.
Are you afraid right now? You afraid?
I'm trying to build. I am now. I am. You're getting cranky. Right, you're raising your voice.
You better run it. You better run it.
It's a comedy show, so I've got to hide it in comedy, dude.
Barbara Bush's mother was something Prescott, right? Married William Prescott or something like that.
Yes.
And she was a society woman.
Got this.
Go ahead, Monty.
No. Well, you know what you're talking about. I just know that, who knows? I can't wait till humanity's free and the Vatican's underground library is open, and I'm going to spend 4 months. Open. Not the underground librry where they hid everything.
It's called the Synagogue of Satan and Aleister Crowley. Wow, Monty, I don't know what to think about you right now. I'm a little concerned.
Do you reckon libraries that extensive would go? Okay, sure. Here you go. Or do you reckon they'd be assholes about it? Again.
No. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
We'll let you win.
Play ball? We can play ball.
If we can just have it to ourselves, then no one can have it.
Yeah, no, we'll just let you win. We'll just let you. Yeah, you can look at through all the codexes that were stolen from the Mayans and the Aztecs. Yeah, sure. Bring a camera. Don't think so.
Those little spy ones.
It's called the Secret Vatican Archive. Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen a portion of it, and it is miles long underground and everything like that. Yeah. And it's very temperature control, bulletproof.
Did you know? This is the latest update on the Pope. He's had half his colon removed, and I instantly thought, no, he's still full of shit. Actually, yeah, Mechanic now is sharing, because this is an audio thing. Mechanic is showing a photo of, I believe that's Aleister Crowley and Barbara Bush, and my God, the apple didn't fall far from the tree from that one, did it, ladies and gentlemen? Even the hand.
Any questions? I mean, really?
Why? She's practicing to clutch her pearls.
I mean, the mannerisms, the lips, the nose, the eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, scary, man.
So explain what we're looking at, because this is not a visual medium.
Well, we are looking at a photo of Aleister Crowley on the left with the top hat and a trench coat, little scarf, about mid 60s, early 70s, maybe.
Yeah, oldish.
And we're looking at Barbara Bush, definitely mid 70s. And they're definitely related. No question. I mean, I see a remarkable resemblance here.
Yeah.
They both got their left hand in their chest.
Look at our point of view, the right side of the right nostril. Look at how the cheek digs in right there, the same place on the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. People listening, just Google Aleister Crowley and Barbara Bush. And
you could just up on the
just go to the URL. Now get your pens out. No, I'm not going to read
that. No, people have to learn how to do. Have to investigate themselves. We can't hand them everything. Yeah,
it's a test. It's a test.
Yeah. So enjoy that rabbit hole. Wow, they're all connected, as George Cullen says. It's a big club, and you're not in it. Yeah, and they've proven that. Going to the UK. Just for a second, the elite are not doing the rules for us and rules for them, and no masks. They're not social distancing. They went to Ascot and rubbing up against each other. It's not
the same for everyone, is it?
I can see where your frustration comes from, Cortek. Is like, when are you going to see it? And I think humanity. Have you noticed there's that sort of background tension that everyone has because of the lunacy of the lockdowns? Where you have to wear a mask to the restaurant. Or no, you don't have to wear a mask to the restaurant. Put the mask on and walk from the front door to a table wearing a mask. But then you sit down, you can take the mask off. Because apparently ridiculous. COVID only does not...
travels.
No, it doesn't go below 6 feet.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I had a ridiculous moment at the bottle this afternoon, just going to get a couple of longies. And... do you
want me to translate that for you?
And I'm supposed to wear a mask in, but I didn't have one on me, so I thought, just nip in there, 3 meters to the left, 3 meters to the right, you out the door again. And the security guard thought, I'm going to come up and I'm going to grab these bottles and say, look, no, you're not going to do this. It's like, far out.
I'll just translate for our American friends. He went to a liquor store and got some 40s. Yeah, there you go. See, a longie. What the hell's a long? It's a long neck. It's a big
long
bug.
neck.
Yeah, you drink out of a long neck, you look like a 4-year-old with a stubby. Because have you noticed, when people are drunk, they act like a 4-year-old.
I know. Just the drunk. See, I can't even. I don't know if this is an age thing, but this is a great topic. The age thing, does it come with a level of maturity? I don't know. Did I outgrow the desire to go to a bar? Did I ever have it? Probably not. Probably not. I don't even enjoy drinking, really. I don't even enjoy it, and I'm not even 50 yet.
Yeah, well, it comes down. Well, from your reports from your town, I don't think you want to be social with most people. It's like, really?
No. Let's be real here. They don't want to be social with me.
Yeah, well, there you go. But also, like, I worked in nightclubs for 20 years. You get to a point where the body's like, really? Here's another hangover, and we're going to just pound your brain for it. The body can only take so much damage for so long. The constant
moderation.
Abuse.
Everything
It's moderation, including moderation. Like I actually shared, everything's a lie.
I can resist everything. I can resist anything but temptation.
Everything is a lie, including this statement. So
paradox.
Exactly. So if there's a robot, if you want to break its logic codes, just say that. Yeah, if everything I say is a lie, is this true?
Everything in this box is a lie. Yeah, this is not a true statement. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so someone actually said, so nothing's a lie. It's like, see, but I didn't respond because I usually in social media I can't be asked spending 3 hours writing out a book like a thesis. Like just it always starts with A, it's a joke. B, here's why.
Yeah.
Well,
like just think about it.
Yeah, if you think, I like that. Here in Australia, there was I may have told this story before. Here in Australia, there's like a media celebrity type scientist called Dr. Carl Cook.
Russell Crowe.
No, he's from New Zealand.
Mel Gibson.
No, he was born in LA.
This guy's like a cheap. No, I don't know. You go.
Anyway, Dr. Carl, he's on the Youth Network here in Australia, and he would be like the science guy, and he talks about stuff. I saw him do an interview talking about the insanity that is chemtrails. And according to him, chemtrails were invented by these people to sell food on the internet.
He's far bored. But somewhere or another.
This is the reason why I brought it up. So you skip over that. It's like, okay, whatever, dude. Nice with that. And the interviewer says to him, so what should we do? And he said, maybe teach critical thinking. And I'm like, no, it's like, because he completely, wait, did you hear what you just said? Maybe we should just teach critical thinking. Because it's critical thinking.
anyone with 2 seconds can look up at all of the stuff that made for the Second World War. Like in the Navy, they had those planes that could make the curtains of stuff that they dropped around ships just to stop the visual kind of element. And there was a lot of research done.
I love that. I love chemtrails aren't real. So you're telling me crop dusting is a complete lie.
It started over Sydney. I think it was 14th of February 2012. Was the very first time we had it sprayed over Sydney and over densely populated areas that weren't something like the snowy mountains.
Well, I saw my first chemtrail. I saw it was in St Kilda in 1997, and I thought that Skyrider wants to get fired.
He's not doing any curves. It's just a line.
It's just a line.
I was aware of it. Young. I was aware of it very young. I don't know. I was maybe 5 or 6 years old. So this was I don't know what, 80s, somewhere in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I, looked up the sky. I said, "What's wrong with that plane?" My parents. Oh, that's just the plane's exhaust. But I'm like, no, it's not. I mean, I was aware of the plane's exhaust for whatever reason. I always watched the sky.
Well, you'd seen it in other planes, probably.
Right. Yeah. You can see a regular contrailer when a plane hits a little bit of atmospheric.
Different pressure.
Yeah, different pressure, like above a cloud cell or something. But yeah. But no, man, they've been doing this for a long time. And you know what I think it is? I think what they extremely miscalculated, especially within their time, is they didn't think these volcanoes were going to start going off. So now they've created a hell of a mess.
Yeah, because I think because we even like geoengineering watch, because if you say chemtrails, it's geoengineering, people what? What I find interesting is we don't know exactly what they're doing. We're sort of guessing. Where are they trying to protect the planet because of what's coming in from outside the atmosphere? I mean, once again, that could be a negative thing of like they're stopping what's coming in, and so we can't evolve because of what's happening. Because the sun is doing its 500 cycle thing, and it's all kind of weird. But I remember having John and I had a catch up a day or two ago, and how did you explain it? Like whatever stuff that comes out of the volcanoes, it would leak out of the atmosphere, but they've got this milky white dust crap all over it, and so they're turning it into a greenhouse already.
Right. See, there's what I think it is it's the reverse effect of what they were trying to accomplish. Now they've literally entrapped the volcanic gases within
what they publicly said they were trying to accomplish, which has to be interpreted as the complete opposite going.
Right. Now, I want to add to this because I'm sitting here kind of mulling this over. You look at all these SpaceX satellites they've put up there, right? These, what do they call it? For the love of God, why am I? Elon
Wi-Fi
Musk
ones? Yeah.
Well, I don't think they're for Wi-Fi. I mean, that's just a brilliant excuse, right?
I don't think it's really that cool to expose radiation to anyone who hasn't agreed to that as well.
Right. Well, get this. So in the 80s, I think 84 or 83, they were running public articles, like I think in the Washington Post or big newspapers, saying that they've discovered this exoplanetary system. And they're observing it, and they can only see it in the infrared spectrum. Or so at that time, okay, well, yeah, we're also possibly going to have something solar happen with the sun. So they go to engineer this thing to keep out, solar rays. Well, somewhere along the line, somebody's gotten in there and said, hey, well, let's use this for this as well. I mean, they could be trying to literally build a planetary shield as well. See, everything they do is multifaceted. And what's the biggest threat one of the biggest threats we face right now? Space rocks, man.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think so.
To add to that, what color of the sun do you see today?
Well, I mean, I think it's whiter than. I think it's turned whiter compared to
now. Is that I remember it in yellow, but it's white now. Now, I haven't seen a shot of the sun from outside of the atmosphere. So, is it because something's changed? The sun could be changing its color, but the light's been changed from what's going in the atmosphere. And is the chemtrails helping them or not helping us?
It does seem like it's causing a bigger problem. And warming seems like it's going both ways, but I don't think they can second guess nature. And I think whatever think group authorized this with the NATO groups and the countries that are involved, the fact that it is not an open discussion on whether this is good or bad is a red flag and an alarm for malevolence for me.
And like comedy is basically making connections that people don't see, and you make it in a funny way. And I keep forgetting when people talk about climate change, bringing up geoengineering, terraforming, or chemtrails. It's all the same thing. But it's like, it's man-made climate change. Oh, you mean chemtrails? That shuts down the argument real quick.
No, you can't use that word anymore because people jump to people think you're talking
weaponized.
about ghosts, even if ghosts are a completely 100 legitimate thing in this world,
Well, there's been so much misinformation,
Well, with all not only the misinformation, people don't take the time to sit down and read collegiate documentation about studies up to this effect too.
How do we skip that hardcore data? Even from the beginning of this, the people and the algorithms that were chosen were ones that was vague in any interpretation. This UK guy, in terms of how many people could die. This is where it all spawned from, and just ever since then, the data's just been off. Every single turn, bad data.
So Cortek, to answer your question, you're talking about a corrupt system. So they don't care.
It's made that way.
Yeah, the man with a stick doesn't care about your piece of paper. Basically, it's
justice.
Exactly, the injustice system. I know I heard David Icke say it, and it's from someone else because David borrows things. But look at the justice system. It's full of injustice. Government, everything's been inversed, and this leads towards the dark side, Luciferian, whatever language you want to use. But the system that we're told, the fake reality we're told by the mainstream media, that sounds awesome, but we don't have it. And the system's broken. No, it's working perfectly fine for a small group of people that are trying to take over the planet.
Yeah.
And then you have us, and it's like, whatever. And it comes down to observe but don't engage energetically.
Well, you gotta. I engage, but in a past asymmetrical warfare type thing. Because I think the war goes on first in your mind, in your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to go into your actions every day and just your family. Like you said earlier, I think, Monty, is that why is family such a big thing for everybody else? Well, it's because it's the foundation of good society, and that's why it's so attacked.
And it's like, Hillary Clinton said, it takes a village to raise a child. That's true, but sometimes villages have idiots. Please leave, Hillary.
She didn't say that. Did she? That's a well-known phrase or saying before.
Of course, she borrowed that. But she also said, I think we need to put someone on Mars. And I instantly thought, can it be you?
Yeah, by yourself.
Right.
Yeah, we'll use a trebuchet.
Can I have that red pantsuit?
Can I light the fuse?
I didn't do a top 9 for this week because I had an idea of we should have a top 9 of top 9s, and it was one would be top 9 natural disasters that was created by the Clintons because the Titanic had information on the Clintons or the Hindenburg, the Hindenburg, Titanic, just go through all the history. I shared a meme and it was funny. It was a history joke. And it was, you see, when you see those circles and you can just see a number in them, if you squint or, they say, you can see it, blah, blah, blah. And depends your colorblind.
Levels of,
there was six circles and they all had numbers in them except for the red one, which was blank. And the text underneath it was still upset about the Library of Alexandria.
Yeah,
don't let it go, people.
Yeah, no, it's only been 2,000 years, but still, the joke is if people are unaware of the history, I think the Romans, the Library of Alexandria at the time was the greatest deposit of information of the ancient world, and someone flicked a cigarette at some scrolls and the whole thing burnt up, and so much knowledge just basically got lost. And so that's why it made me laugh, and I had to share it. I had to share it because, it's still let it go. It's been 2,000 years. Exactly. It's
Islam it wasn't just the Romans or Christians or anything. Like everyone blames Westerns, but it was Islamics as well.
Oh yeah,
everything.
Everyone through history sucks. In the United States, we need
reparations smuggled out.
Yeah. Of course.
Papyri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need reparations for the slave. We need the reparations of the slaves in the United States. And it's like, yeah, cool, but is there a 97% tax for First Nations you get? Because I find it fascinating where I've been watching Quentin Tarantino films as well, and Spike Lee got upset because Quentin uses the N-word. I didn't say it, but you all thought what I just mean. That's the power of mind control. But it's like non-compliant. Anyway, we could spend 20 minutes just going through N-words. Not really. And Spike was basically saying it's dishonoring our ancestors. It's all about, dishonoring slavery, and it's a Holocaust. And I'm thinking, I can see where you're coming from, but why are you ignoring the Irish as well as the Native Americans? I think the Apache. Yeah, I think the Apache may have something to say about that, or the Navajo. I'm just putting it out there. The Hopi survived because they were kind of nice, but really, they both suck. But if you just focus on one, it's like you're dishonoring the other one, which was worse because
dishonoring everyone.
Yeah, it's but the slaves they were stolen and then treated like crap. It's like, yeah, but the Native Americans had their land sold and then they were stolen and then they're treated like crap. So I think they kind of win.
Makes the point. He makes the point too that when he uses that word, all right, when he shows you a slave being whipped, all right, and so on, you're supposed to feel that pain.
Yeah, that's part of the filmmaking experience.
That's the point of the filmmaking experience.
It's like the TV show Outlander, and it's set in the 1700s. Oh, I don't like it because there's too much rape in it. Well, guess what? People living there didn't like the rape either.
Right.
It's the 1700s. That's what humanity was like. Even
there's a lot of rompy-pompy in that show.
Yeah, well, there is, but also there's some dark crap as well because that's what was happening during the time. Gone with the Wind, they're complaining about that. It's like, it's a film made in 1932 about the Civil War, which was 65 years earlier, and it shows what was happening back then.
Are they proposing that those bits be cut out to suit modern day? What do you even call it? Neurosis?
I look at it this way because of what's taking place in South Africa with the apartheid. This, the absolutely butchering of the population, that if you want to use the term colonization.
Oh yeah, the white farmers and
This is it's interesting because I just come across a report there not too long ago how somebody in the Middle East, some leader in the Middle East, shipped all kinds of people into Europe just over the past like a couple days or so, 2 or 3 days. And look at what's taking place at the southern border here in the country, in the United States.
There's definitely more chess pieces moving in the background. There's still stuff going on. Basically, although we might feel like we're in a lull or a lockdown or in limbo. What's next?
Also a litmus test. That's also, the lockdowns are a litmus test too, to see who will and will not go with the program. If you will not go with the program, well, then you probably get a double check by the red dot side.
It's not a litmus test in Spain, Mr. Wayne. And I'm not trying to rhyme, but the government is working on putting together a bill and a plan of action to force citizens render all property rights.
What?
Yeah, this is going on in Brazil right now.
Wow.
Or, is there any terms set for the?
Yeah, it's supposedly under some emergency notion or whatever, but this is per se too. I think they already have the UN there, and the military's involved with it. The military's going to be obligated to follow through, and citizens will be obligated to follow through as well. And
what I find interesting about the whole thing.
Wow. Yeah, bring in the New World Order, right? This is what it's all about. They're going to use the UN to bring in the New World Order. And whatever country doesn't comply, the rest of the countries that do comply will send their armies to fight for those joining members.
The white people are evil, colonial, racist. And it's like, well, if you actually look at history, it's not every white person on the planet. It's like everyone, it's the Jews.
Everyone on the planet.
It's a small group of people who are effing with the Jews. But blaming all the white people, if you look at history, it's actually the Vatican and the British royalty.
Yeah,
I mean, they are white.
And everyone richer than that.
Exactly.
Really,
everybody.
Go ahead, John.
People really want to see where horrific things are taking place. Look no further than Yemen.
Oh, yeah, that's still going on. Yeah.
Is there anybody even left alive in that country?
Yeah, it's even like
Spain.
what's
That's
happening
Spain.
in
I said
China.
Spain. I
Yeah,
meant to
Spain
say
as well.
Spain.
Yeah, but what I think what we're uncovering here is we ignore stuff because there's no white people, so that's just local politics. But now in Spain, I'm sure they're blaming the white Spanish because the minorities need to be put up on a pedestal type thing.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on in Spain at the moment, but like for a while there, I'm not sure, about 5 or 6 years ago, they didn't even have any government for 2 or 3 years, and everything was really prospering. So I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure who's.
But there's
moved
also
in. I'm not sure who's moved in. You know, but
Cortek, 3 letters. You ready?
Go.
IMF.
F. Yeah.
Yes.
Functional.
Yeah. International Mother Lovers.
Monetary Fund. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
MF.
MF.
Yeah, MF. Yeah. It's
basically, it's a program, isn't it?
I mean, like Klaus, because I always think of him as anal Schwab. He dresses in like a Japanese.
It's Star Trek-ish.
Yeah, he's either a Klingon, a Romulan, or a Japanese warlord.
It's got pointy shoulders,
and
it comes out
straight up.
He comes out with his German accent, and because I'm Australian, I lean towards the British comedy, and so they take the piss out of Nazis all the time. And so if I hear anyone trying to be a tyrant in a German accent, it just gets me the wrong way. It's like, we will take over the world, and you will own nothing, and you'll rent everything, and you shall be happy. It's like,
I will join you. We will join you together. We will take over the world.
Yeah, and you
can't do that in pointy shoulders.
No, exactly. Like, what are you wearing?
Here's another one,
John.
Yeah, I actually know a guy in Germany, and we get reports from him. And the Germans remember their history because the History Channel would not stop going on about it.
Yeah, I think the German people are great people.
Oh, exactly. Well, yeah, it's like the German. Here's the government. We are going to start doing this. Everyone has to wear a yellow star, and the German people's like, "The hell you will." Like we've done this before. It didn't work out well. Yeah, exactly.
They've got a super systematic mind. They can find faults in systems really well. That's what they're best for. So they're probably that didn't go well, but they're great.
They remember from World War I to World War II quite vividly. And so anything that the National Socialist Party, they learnt from their mistakes. Like
It's really harsh on the younger people that were born in Germany too. I went over there to a skate comp. A friend was it was really great. We went to Cologne kind of thing, and it's a beautiful city. There's lots of skate spots. It's got a great history and stuff like that. But there is this on the younger generations, on everywhere where there was a family taken out and taken to concentration camps. There's these gold blocks in the pavement. And so there's even down to the nitty gritty. If you're just sitting there and you're at a party maybe next door, and there's maybe a gold, a couple of these things to showing that this was a property where someone was taken, even to the point where the younger generations won't step on that block.
Yeah, it's to remember.
There's a great amount of guilt put on these young people,
Yeah, and it's like obviously usually it's one religion that points it out, but it wasn't just it was sympathizers, intellectuals, artists, the homosexual community, the disabled. Mentally, basically across the board, the Nazis weren't exactly. You're not one of us, mind you. A comedian pointed out on stage here in Melbourne, and I can't remember his name because I like to give credit. But he said, Adolf Hitler had brown eyes and brown hair. If you want to start a master race, at least be part of it.
What do you think is with that blue eye thing?
Oh, it's genetics where they're supposed to be the Aryan, the classic Aryan race is blue eyes and blonde hair.
And how do you think that works out though?
Look at the Iranians, okay? Look no further than
That's
Iran.
true.
There's some crazy
He's right.
Iranians with blue eyes, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think the
right.
Aryan race originated
One was
in
on
India.
time. One
Or
was
the
on a
true
time travel.
Aryans.
They are
Yeah.
tied to, yes, the races that are, more white in India. Yes, all this, man.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's where they come from. And what I find interesting, if you look at the see now it's mainstream history, so we'll skip over how that's botched and full of crap. But most of Europe came from Germany. Like, you go back far enough,
Yeah.
it's like German tribe, except for the Romans who tried to beat them back, but they only got halfway. But
Germanic.
What countries that stayed out of combat and war for over 200 years? Okay, unless the Ottoman Empire, Iran. Okay,
Yeah.
then you have, how Hitler was looking for, and Goebbels, and I mean all of them. Himmler. I mean, we're looking for these ancient artifacts.
Yeah, all the
Yes.
truth in all
That's
those ancient stories. Yeah.
Yep.
Beyond America.
And if you go back far enough, I believe the Vikings, who weren't called Vikings, they were the Norsemen, which just means northern men. I believe they really originated in Germany, and they went up into that areas because, like, I don't like Hans. Hans is a dick. Let's go over here. And they moved up there, and then they started to spread out as well. Like,
I can see how that could happen.
yeah, it's like, Fritz, go get Schneppel. Hans is being a dick again.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Let's just go. Let's just get the boat and go.
Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay, Hans.
Yeah. Shoot the glass. Now, by the way, because we're coming to the end, I need to point this out. Die Hard 1 and 2 are Christmas movies. So,
Die Hard 3 Halloween movies.
100.
Exactly. And 4 is slightly amusing. 5, don't watch it. While we've got time, because we're racing towards the end, it's been another fabulous Planet Collingwood. I hope people listening got some information and more chuckles from the information and so forth. Mix it up. But John Wayne, not the actor, would you like to tell people where they can find you on Revolution Radio?
Yeah, I broadcast every Saturday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Unequivocal Truth, DEFCON 1, Studio A.
Not a comedy show. But very good information as always. And Mechanic, do you have a list of where people can find you on Revolution Radio?
Yeah, just tune in any night after 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You're bound to get lucky. Yeah.
Exactly. Roll the dice on the Mechanic. Brandon, would you like to share where people can find you? Not
Sure.
obviously your personal address, but yeah.
No. Yeah, you can just go to Twitter and Brandon Young 82. That's my Twitter handle. I don't have a show. I used to have a show, but I contribute to many other shows. So
yeah. So you'll find out all that from Twitter. And Cortek, you're in lockdown, so that sucks.
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, for another week apparently. So yeah, he'll be found.
I feel for you, dude. And F you, Monty. Right? F you.
Hey, I'm not that lonely.
All right, Cortek.
Sydney people, thanks, but Sydney people are complaining about lockdowns, but no one's had it worse than Victoria.
I hear your army's about to do good things in Australia, though. I do. I hear good things about that army. I'm hearing a lot of people are saying no. A lot of high-level individuals are starting to write letters to high-level, high-ranking politicians, and it's not a good look.
The term un-Australian is being used a lot now.
Yes,
Like,
that's funny.
It's un-Australian.
That's funny.
And interesting.
That's what I read. Yeah.
It's un-Australian. It's like you can't do it because we're not exactly like the United States. We're just a different version where, if you're raspberry, we're cola. No, we're vanilla or chocolate. We're just a different flavor.
Country, does it rearm its citizens? That's my question.
Maybe, but we didn't. Not many of us lost guns in the first place.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But
no, because
it's a lovely idea.
Apathy. Yeah, it's like, I mean, people said, "Oh, but there's tens of thousands of UN troops in Australia." Probably because there's only 6 of us here, and it's a large bit of land. So they could be anywhere. But yeah, there's that Australian we're peaceful and happy-go-lucky unless someone says, we're starting a war. Do you want to help us? Geez, I don't know. They called you puffs. Right, we'll be there. Right, punch on, mate. Don't you start. Because apart from World War II, when the Japanese were going down Asia and heading towards us, that's the only time Australian Defence Force have defended Australia. Every other one, we've gone to try to stop wars. And I think Vietnam is the one that we called a draw. Every other sort of military combat.
Do we call that a conflict, actually?
It's a long way with that supply train.
Rambo calls it a win.
Yeah. Or Korea, it's a police action. Kind of look pretty warish to me. So there you are. Yeah. You have been listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. This is Planet Collingwood. We'll be back in 6 days and 22 hours, as that is our orbit. My name is Monty Dean. You have been awesome. And yep, there's the music. I did it well this time. So started out kind of wobbly, but ended. We stuck the landing, and so now we're just going to try and hit on the stewardess and get rejected again. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen.
Keep calling her stewardess.
Yeah, well, her name's Stuart. See you soon, ladies and gentlemen. Have fun.
Look what I can do.